Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Chris Holt and welcome back to another video. In today's video, you guys asked for another Camaro video, so I'm coming at it right for you. So, what we got is we've got the ported intake manifold for the Camaro V6. Now, I have an LLT car, which has a little bit of a different head to the LFX. Now, the LFX has all integrated heads and they don't get the access to the long tube headers. Now, I have an LLT and I got the long tube headers on my car. Now, I have the option to do the best of both worlds. In this video, I go ahead and install a ported LFX intake manifold on my LLT Chevy Camaro. Now, the way that I do it is I bought a GMC Acadia lower intake manifold, and then I actually went ahead and also bought a Jacfab Extendolator, which basically increases the runner length between the now adapter, the Acadia adapter, and the LFX intake, and then a ported LFX intake. Now, why did I go with that route? Well, because studies have shown that the LFX intakes, ported and not, do much better than any ported LLT heads because they're the aluminum and they heat soak really quickly. So doing this composite plastic is going to be better for that. And also it is ported and it has that bottom slot filled and all of the insides cut out. So I'm super excited to do that. I think my car is officially going to be fully bolt-on at this point. So I'm really excited to show you guys this and get this put on my car. Alright guys, so this is where we're starting. Now for me, I have a Veyron cold air intake, and then also I just installed my 76mm ported throttle body from Overkill in Kenny Camaro Roberts. So I gotta go ahead and take both of these off. Now this is pretty straightforward. All I gotta do is remove this coupler right here between the throttle body and the intake. So I'll be taking that off and removing that as much as I can. And then we're gonna go ahead and get to the intake manifold. All right, I went ahead and took the throttle body off, the intake off right here. And make sure to grab this gasket, and you don't need it for the LFX intake, imported intake manifold. It has a little gasket on there right about there. And so we got it all off, and now we're gonna go ahead and start disassembling this intake right here. All right, so I decided to switch to my phone for this part, just to show you guys. You gotta take off this 10mm right there, which these are all taken off, by the way. And then 6 13mm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the 6th one, you come around to the driver's side here, and you go in here, and as you can see, that bolt right there. Now, I used a ratcheting open-ended box wrench. I used the open end to start, and then once I got it high enough, I used the ratchet part of the closed end side, and then my hands to finish it off. And we should hope to get a little bit of pliability so that now we can make sure that it will move. All right, so next I went ahead and removed this line right here. I started with the back up in there, went on that little bung right there. And then here, I made sure to twist it and then pull it straight out, and it came right out. Now, I made sure to remove that bolt here first, and then we gotta get to this one. And then there's also one back on the driver's side here. This guy right here should just pull straight out like so. And yeah, we're getting down to it. Just got that guy undone, so we should be able to pick it up. And there we go. All right, I got a little bit carried away. You have to undo this bolt right here, which holds this little bracket right in there that holds that sort of stuff. And it should come right out. Now we should be good to go and pull that out. All right, so we got the manifold off. This is what we're working with right there. That is directly on top of the engine. So it's all disassembled. I've got my intake right there. I know it looks really weird because it's a different type of intake, but intake there. throttle body right there, and the old intake manifold right there. Now the throttle body, still looking clean, still doing its job. I love it. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go ahead and watch it. But I'm gonna go ahead and start installing the new one, but I'm actually going to show the differences between this one and the new one. Alright, here you guys have it. We have the new intake and the old one. Now this new one is off of an LFX, which is a 2012 and newer Camaro V6, and this one is an LLT intake, a 2010 and 2011 Camaro intake. Now why is this one better? Not only is it lighter than that one, like about half of the weight right here over that one, but it is also doesn't heat soak as much as that one, and it flows much better. But on top of that, I got this one ported as well, where this one is just a stock LLT manifold. Now how come I didn't go ahead and just port my LLT manifold? Well, that is because even a fully ported LLT manifold does not flow as well as an LFX manifold. Now it doesn't necessarily look as good as that one, that's debatable, but I went ahead and did it. It's going to give me a lot better performance, and it'll be really interesting to see how it does on the car. But that's not all. In order to get it to fit, you need an adapter plate, which comes on the 2012 through 2016 GMC Acadia, which, as you can see on this side, has squares because the bottom of the LFX manifold has more square ports. And then the bottom, like the engine, has these circles for the LLT. I believe this is the same for the LFX as well, but basically it's going to be put on the car or the manifold like so. But instead of just leaving it like this, I went ahead and decided to splurge a little bit and get this fancy guy, the Jacfab Extendolator. So that's gonna go on the manifold like so, and then on top of that it's going to be the extra Acadia bit. So as you can see, it's gonna sit higher off of the block, gonna give more runner length and keep it from heat soaking as much. Now I live in the Northwest, not really a huge deal, and I don't know how much power it's gonna give or whatever, but it's something that I'm looking forward to over that stock one right there. And if you haven't seen, I went ahead and put the ported larger throttle body. This is the last thing that I need to be fully bolt on. So I'll have a full bolt on 2010 Chevy Camaro V6. So let's go ahead, I'll show you how to get all of this attached to that, and then go ahead and install it on the car. So when reinstalling, there's a few things that we need to keep an eye out on. So the orientation of the new manifold, and see on this side right here, it's got that circular bump, and then there in the back, it has a more squared off bolt. Now also on this, there's one side of the Extendolator right here that has these blue, the blue little gaskets on it. So that is going to be facing down, the circle up front and the square on the end. Now you go over here to the Acadia part, circle will go on the front and the squared off part will go on the back. Now go ahead and line it up. So you can tell it's not right there. And then we're gonna go ahead and put the bolts in and properly get it. When ordering the Extendolator, you get this kit here, full of bolts and all of that sort of stuff from Jacfab as well. So in the kit, we're given these blue little screws right there. Those go in these 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then using a flathead screwdriver, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these down to the intake manifold itself going through the spacer. In the kit, they also provide 6 bolts, 5 of normal length and 1 short one. The short one needs to go in the back here, and they recommend that you start with this one in, but I'm actually gonna start with them all in and go from there. Gonna go ahead and set this on the car and see what else we gotta do. All right, so I also had to get a different evap purge solenoid and then a different line right here. So you come on this one right here, and this new one is gonna go and attach right there. And as you can see, there's a little clip spot for it. So we kind of have to disassemble this one right here that is existing on your LLT and take that one apart right there. And I believe this line right here is gonna go into this one as well. All right, so pulling off the old line right here was actually a real pain. So I pulled it off from the bottom stub right there, and then this will go up on top, and I'm gonna go ahead and attach that piece right there to my intake manifold, and then attach this right here to the car and to the intake manifold. Kind of not the easiest, but I got it. These little clips right here are kind of a pain, but getting it off really showed me how they worked, and I was able to really wrestle it off. So gonna go ahead and do both those things, and then hopefully get that ported intake manifold up on there. All right, guys, so I went ahead and started on the bolts on the top. They're gonna be torqued down to 18 foot-pounds. Got this line right here, put all the way back to there, as you can see. And then on this evap purge solenoid thing, I believe, right there, the line, I attached it around back and it goes down, follows that, and goes right down in there. Now, something that we run into a bit of an issue with the LLT to LFX, and especially the one with the Extendolator on it, is this piece right here does not reach this guy right there. Now I know I need to take that off because that was a cut one from a car, but as you can see down here, it runs into an issue. You can't pull anymore, so I gotta go ahead and take my little knife and cut down there. Something I'm definitely not looking forward to, but it's something we gotta do in order to get that to attach up there. Then all I gotta do is finish tightening down all of these bolts. This wiring harness thing right here, this plug, you gotta put a cap in that. It doesn't really do anything, but you don't want anything getting into your intake manifold right there. So I gotta tighten that one down and then cover that with some tape or something like that. So that's all that takes. And then tightening down these 6 bolts, throwing the throttle body back on, and then throwing the intake back on top of that. So that should be all we gotta do, and I'll update you throughout. All right, so I kind of wrestled in here with the wires and stuff, but as you can see, it was this orange one and the green one that kind of made it. So it's got a bit of slack on it, but not a ton. To get it plugged in there, make sure you hear the click. And now you can see it's sitting up. I've got to go ahead and tighten that bolt right there, plug that, tighten down the 6 bolts to 18 foot-pounds, and then throttle body and stuff. So we're getting there. But that right there in the corner wasn't the easiest, wasn't the most fun. Always nerve-wracking cutting into some wires and stuff. But here we go, we're almost there. All right, guys, I'm gonna grab my torque wrench right here. Gonna tighten them down to 18 foot-pounds. Now they're a 13 millimeter bolt. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 up front. I'm gonna go ahead and just do a hand tight with that guy right there. Then I'm gonna come down and use my torque wrench to really firm it up and do a couple passes to make sure that they're down to 18 foot-pounds. All right, guys, so there you have it. The intake manifold ported, the throttle body with the coupler into the Veram intake. There is the spacer, pretty obvious. It sits up pretty high. Now, my only concern right now, but I think it will, is if the hood will close and latch. But that's just because I have this weird front cold air intake. So I'm really crossing my fingers that it all works out and all that. When installing the throttle body, you don't need to put that gasket back in there because it has it built in to the LFX intake, whether it's ported or not. So let's go ahead, see if the hood will close here. I'm really crossing my fingers, guys. Doing it slowly. Hey, and it latches, let's go. All right, let's get a startup. All right, guys, I apologize about the neighbor doing their construction work across the street, but I'm gonna go ahead, start it up, see if there's any weird idle, see if there's any air leaks from the front, and yeah, go from there. Alright guys, we're good. I went ahead and checked over here, making sure that there's no gas or anything, no air coming out, and I think we should be good. I'm going to go ahead and let it idle here for a little bit, and then from there, I'm going to go ahead and take it out on the road and see how it drives. So after going ahead and taking the car out on a drive, something that I noticed about the intake and the riser and all of that is that it feels like there's a lot more low-end torque, like pull off already. Now I did this very quickly after the ported throttle body, the larger ported throttle body, and that seemed to do a lot as well. But I did them at separate times, so I was able to. Now the reason this video has been delayed so long is because I don't have the Camaro with me here at college anymore, and the footage was on my camera, which you guys are on now, and I didn't get that until just a few weeks ago. School's super busy, no excuses, but I would highly recommend this mod to all of you guys that have, especially LLT V6 Camaros, even the LFX ones. Get yours ported, do the Extendolator by Jacfab. You know, I'm not sponsored by them to say any of these product reviews or anything like that. It's just my personal opinion. I love it. Now that I have the intake, the catless long tube headers, and exhaust, ported intake manifold, larger throttle body, I think I'm full bolt on. Now let me know in the comments down below if there's something that I'm not running that makes me full bolt on. Now I understand that I don't have a tune yet. That's something that might come here in the future. The Camaro, it's not on the back burner, but it's not here with me at school. It is my spring term, so once summer comes around, that's going to be a much bigger step to possibly get it tuned or stuff like that. So let me know what you want to see with the Camaro down in the comments down below. And if you guys are new to the channel here, I have my Camaro obviously, and I have a 2006 Hummer H3 Adventure package. Now, we're going to go through and do a massive transformation on that car here soon. So if that's something that interests you and you haven't subscribed already, I'd love for you guys to hit that subscribe button. I'm really trying to hit 450 subscribers by the end of April. Let's see if we can make that happen. I've got a couple more videos on queue, so hopefully I'll get this one out to you guys here soon. And then probably at the middle of next week, I'll release another video. Hopefully try and get 2 videos out for you guys each week before the end of the month, so that we can hit that 450 subscriber mark. We're like 10 or 11 away, so we're super close, guys. I'd love for you guys to leave a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it. Leave any comments down below. I'd love to get back to you guys and talk to you guys. And just like that, guys, hit that subscribe button for more videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.